All right, guys, welcome to the Pitchfork podcast for March 29th, 2021. If you guys like the stream, hit like button, hit share button, let other people know I wrote the stream. And we're going to get into the news pretty soon, in a second. What's going on, Trig? What's going on, Trig? I see you in the chat here. See you in the chat. I salute you. All right. Have a little orange juice. Good old OJ. Well, not that other OJ, but the actual orange juice. I ain't talking about Orthol Simpson. Orthol Simpson. All right. So, we got Diesel Bomb in the chat. He says, was listening to some KRS-One interview from a few weeks ago. Got to love his take on the culture of hip hop. Yeah, KRS-One is the shit. Absolutely. KRS-One is the shit, and very much so. So let me go ahead and change the input here. All right, so we're on Chrome. All right, so the first story we're gonna cover is a story that's personal to me. I want people to see what I'm talking about. So my older brother, Carlos Grant, who's a high school principal, molested me. Trying to find the story. Wrote to the state. So let's see here. All right. Let me find the story real quick. There we go. See, they try to bury this story, and it's not going to work because that's why I do. What's your opinion about Brazil? What do you know about us? My opinion is that what's going on in Brazil is bullshit, and that I definitely am going to cover that without question. So if you stay tuned to the podcast, I'm gonna cover that, and I'm also going to basically I'm going to cover that, and I'm going to cover the I'm going to do a live edit, so that I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart real quick. I will do a live edit, whereas I'll make it a dedicated video. So yeah, I will definitely cover it without question. Let me go and give you a moderator. Okay, you got a wrench now, so let me go ahead and go over this piece here because I want people to see this. All right, so we're gonna do a live edit right now. Let's go ahead and record. All right, this is going to be a story that's close and near to me, something that I personally helped out with. Court filing. Richland County Sheriff covered up school deputy preying on teens for 9 years by David Travis Bland, published on March 26, 2021, updated March 27, 2021. So let's go back here. Richland County Sheriff announces the arrest of former deputy and ex-USC basketball ex-basketball Jamel Bradley for having a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old Spring Valley High School student. Wow. Yeah, so basically my older brother, Carlos Grant, who's a high school principal in Greenville, South Carolina, molested me as a kid. I tried to report it to the Richland County Sheriff's Department, and they did absolutely nothing. And they covered it up, and just like they covered up this case right here. And on top of that, there's also a case known as Brenda Bryant. Brenda Bryant and her daughter Stephanie, they were also screwed over by Richland County. Her daughter Stephanie was a mentally disabled woman who got gang raped and got a freaking STD. And they reported it to Leon Lott, who did nothing about it. Nothing about it. And now you're hearing it from 3 different sources that Leon Lott covers up rapes and the Richland County Sheriff's Department covers up rapes. That's why I hate cops so much. That's why whenever you tell me you'll think different about cops, I just snap on you. I don't want to hear that shit. Shut the fuck up. Don't tell me to like cops. Because you're only prolonging my trauma. Don't do that. Don't do that. You fucking boot-licking shitheads. You police ball washers. I don't want to hear from you. Unless you call in or you join the Discord and you actually have a conversation with me. Because I want to hear how stupid you are. Seriously. Because many of you just hide in the comment section. You're not doing that anymore. Not so long as Richland County is sitting there covering up rapes. I told people that Leon Lott did this for a long time, and now you're seeing so many other people come out and say the exact same thing about him. Am I still lying? Interesting. Let's get into it. Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott and internal investigators protected a deputy from 2010 to 2019 who they had reason to know was a sexual predator, lawyers in a civil suit alleged in a Wednesday court filing. Protecting the now former deputy Jamel Bradley, who was primarily a school resource officer, amounted to a cover-up to save the Richland County Sheriff's Department from embarrassment and liability, according to the filings. Lott and Captain John E. Ewing, the former deputy's advisor, the former deputy supervisor, deliberately and systematically concealed Deputy Bradley's predatory nature and concealed their own knowledge in of his predatory nature, the filing said. The filing claimed that internal investigators into the former deputy were inadequate and that Lott and Ewing shrugged off evidence that Bradley had inappropriate relationships and possibly sexually assaulted a female student. That evidence included a lie detector test failed by the former deputy and emails with students that lawyers described as clearly suspicious. A number of times that Bradley was accused of inappropriate actions with female students in those 9 years would have reasonably proved that Lott and Ewing that a deputy was abusing students, according to the documents. The department officials downplayed those incidents in ways that indicate a cover-up. In response, the department said Lott stands by comments he made following Bradley's arrest in November 2019. At the time, Lott said, "I'm sick to my stomach over the thought of this girl being victimized by one of my former deputies. No child should be subjected to this, and I'm disgusted that it happened with someone who is entrusted with protecting our children. We didn't ignore this," Lott said at the time. "As soon as this came to our attention, we got on it. Bullshit. You fucking liar. Just like you got on just like you got on my goddamn case and Brenda Bryant. How many other rapes have you covered up, you piece of shit? You piece of fucking shit. How many other ones? Leon Lott is trash, and anyone who likes him is trash. His whole family's trash. His dog is trash. If he fucking has a goddamn dog or a cat, they're both trash. Everything that man touches is goddamn trash. Everybody involved with the County Sheriff's Department, everybody who wears that shitty ass badge is fucking trash. Tell him I said it. Tell him I said it. It was results of the internal investigations that led to his termination and subsequent arrest, a department spokesperson said Friday. Bradley worked with the department from 2010 to 2019, primarily as a school resource officer at Spring Valley High School. The department fired and charged Bradley with third-degree criminal sexual conduct in late 2019. It charged him with sexual battery a few months later. Deputies accused Bradley of sexually assaulting at least 2 teenage students of Spring Valley. 2 lawsuits were filed against the Sheriff's Department in Richland County and Richland District 2 officials. That's Richland School District 2. That's they cover Spring Valley and over in Northeast Columbia. Much of that area, that's Richland School District 2. One of the lawsuits was settled last year for $900,000. So a lawsuit was already settled for the better part of $1 million. $900,000. This week's filing involves the other lawsuit. The department had requested that a judge throw out the lawsuit because it had filed beyond the statute of limitations. On Wednesday, lawyers for the plaintiff responded at the potential for a cover-up excuses to the late filing. The filing detailed 7 incidents from 2010 to 2011 From 2010 to 2019, I should say, the lawyers argued would have been red flags for Lott and Ewing. The department's response to those incidents were deficient to the point of concealment. In 2019, Bradley was accused of habitually acting in a flirting manner with a cheerleader, the records show. A Spring Valley High School cheerleading coach found Bradley's interactions disturbing enough to have a talk with the student about them. The student told Sheriff's Department investigators that she and Bradley had talked over social media. The plaintiff's lawyers brought in a policing expert to scrutinize the department's internal probes and investigations into Bradley. In the 2019 case, the expert found the department stopped short of a complete investigation. The filing claimed that the department never requested to see Bradley's internal records or social media messages to get a better idea of his relationship with the student. So they didn't even ask for that. I keep telling people when they supposed to do rape investigations, they don't actually do investigations. They don't actually do investigations. Right? So they don't actually do investigations. As you can see, the problem is just getting worse and worse and worse. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. A department internal investigation found Bradley hadn't violated any rules of conduct in 2019. And now we know you had to go on to charge him with sexual assault and sexual battery. You were wrong then, you dumb fucks. But then again, you knew that you were wrong. You were lying for him. You knew he was wrong. You were just lying for him. Concealment of Bradley's abuse continued in 2015 after he met at 10:30 p.m. with a female Spring Valley High School student identified as Jane Doe 2 in the filing behind the Target on Two Notch Road, according to the documents. Two Richland County drug investigators saw Bradley meeting with the student, and while their interactions aren't described, one of the investigators felt enough concern about what he witnessed to report it to Ewing, Bradley's supervisor. So another officer saw it. Ewing wanted to see if Bradley's story matched the students, and he interviewed them both separately. The filing said the two stories did not match, but that Ewing closed his inquiry, verbally reprimanded Bradley, and told him to stay away from Jane Doe 2 unless in an emergency. Wow. So that's it. Hey, stay away from her. That's it. You stay away from her. That's it. He's not fired. Wow, interesting. So now you're seeing the pattern with the Richland County Sheriff's Department, the shitty-ass Sheriff's Department. The police expert found the inquiry into Bradley's behavior with Jane Doe 2 far below acceptable, the filing said. Ewing's inquiry failed to look into emails between Bradley and Jane Doe 2, even though the supervisor could have accessed those emails, according to the court documents. Those 2015 emails show Bradley arranged a meeting between Jane Doe 2 before school hours, told her to delete a certain email because school officials could see it, and sent pictures of himself to the student. The email showed Bradley had a casual and flirtatious relationship, and possibly a sexual relationship with that student, the filing said. In a deposition for the other lawsuit filed, Lott said that even after seeing the emails, he still thought Bradley's relationship with Jane Doe 2 was not inappropriate, according to the filing. In a separate complaint, a parent in 2016 overheard her daughter and a friend discussing the friend's relationship with Bradley. So a parent heard this in 2016. Are you seeing the pattern now? Are you seeing the pattern? This is what happened to me as a fucking child. This is what happened to me as a child. I got molested by an older brother. I went to the police. They did nothing. And now you're seeing one of their own officers doing the same exact shit, and they did nothing. The parent told a Spring Valley administrator that her daughter saw pictures of Bradley with the friend. The parent thought Bradley was having sexual relations with the student. Administrators eventually informed the sheriff's department, and the information was sent to Ewing. The department opened up an internal affairs investigation, which consisted of investigators asking Bradley 7 questions and trying to arrange to speak with the parent, the filing said. The meeting with the parent never happened. Wow. The internal investigation into that complaint did not clear Bradley of misconduct, labeling the findings as non-sustained, the filing said. Wow. If it had completely cleared Bradley, the findings would have been labeled unfounded, according to the filing. Again, the policing expert described the investigation as insufficient, saying that the department should have taken more steps to get more information. Simply trying to interview one person and not getting anywhere with it is not an investigation. In March 2018, a 15-year-old sophomore was the subject of rumors at Spring Valley as she was pregnant by that she was pregnant by Bradley. A Spring Valley administrator asked her about the rumor, and the student said it wasn't true, but gave a clear indication that she had been sexually assaulted by Bradley, according to the filing. A month later, the same student presented a hypothetical situation to the school administration. A month later, the same student presented a hypothetical situation to the school administrator in which a girl was sexually assaulted by Bradley but didn't want to report him. The administrator believed the hypothetical girl was a student and informed sheriff's department officials. Ewing told Bradley to stay away from the student unless she needed emergency help. The student's complaints were not taken seriously, the filing said. Bradley remained a resource officer at Spring Valley. Because of Bradley's presence at the school, the 15-year-old's mental health deteriorated to the point where she was hospitalized for 50 days because of suicidal thoughts. That was me. I was there. I understand what this girl is going through, because when I was around that age, I thought about the exact same thing. When I was around her age, I wanted to kill myself because nobody was helping me with my brother. Nobody ever brought him to justice. And I suffered because of that. And I still suffer because of that. And now you're seeing it happen to other people. Had people listened to me for all these years, we could have gotten rid of. I'm trying to not choke up. The student told a doctor in April 2018 that Bradley had sexually assaulted her, according to the filing. The sheriff's department again investigated Bradley, who took a lie detector test. He was found to be purposely uncooperative, and the examiner found him to be untruthful, the filing said. A department investigator believed Bradley touched the student, according to the court document. The department opened up a criminal investigation into Bradley and found that he was untruthful with investigators. Two of the department's criminal investigators said they believed the student was being truthful about Bradley assaulting her. But the criminal investigation was closed mysteriously and abruptly while one of the investigators was out of town, the filing said. The investigation determined there was not enough probable cause to arrest Bradley. Wow. One of the investigators described Bradley as above reproach, the lawyers wrote in the filing. After the criminal investigation, Bradley, who had been reassigned, returned as a resource officer at Spring Valley. In a later deposition, Lott said that at the time of the polygraph test, he was not concerned that the operator believed Bradley was lying. That's not what the results said, you piece of shit. Wow. Leon Lott can't not stop lying. He lies about everything. He is a fucking pathological liar. He lies about everything. Seriously. And you will see that pattern no matter what story that you read about him, no matter how much people like ball wash him, he's a pathological liar. The mother of the student, later labeled as Jane Doe 1 in the civil lawsuit, filed a legal request for the department's records on Bradley. The department refused to release his records, and the mother and Jane Doe 1 sued to get them. Prevailing in the case, the filing said, a judge said that the sheriff's department's refusal to hand over Bradley's records had no legal or factual justification. Wow. It's like a transparency added to what the plaintiff's lawyer continually called deliberate concealment of Bradley's actions in the filings. In the July 2019 deposition, Lott said he believed Bradley was innocent of all the allegations against him and that Jane Doe was being untruthful. So here's the lawyer asking Leon Lott a question. Do you believe that the allegation from my client Jane Doe 1 are untrue? The lawyer asked. That's correct, Lott said. So the lawyer asks, so you stand behind Deputy Bradley? Lott says, that's correct. You piece of shit. You piece of God damn, you a monster. 4 months later, after the department charged Bradley with sexually assaulting a student, Lott called him a monster who hid behind the badge and my name for all this time. The department said the charge followed a description of Jane Doe in her civil suit against the department. Wow. I'm glad that Leon Lott is getting his just desserts, but this has been a Long time thing for me. All right, we have a new subscriber, Rossi Chimo. Thank you for joining the channel. But yeah, this has been my lifelong trauma. And now that other people are seeing it, I'm glad that people are seeing it, because now maybe people can believe victims when they come forward. I pray for the families of those girls. I pray for the families that Leon Lott has hurt. I pray for the families that Leon whose rapes have been covered up. I pray for those people. And Leon Lott, you are a piece of shit of the highest order. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So you want to know why I hate cops so much? That's why. That's why. So we're going to look at something real quick, because someone asked me to look into what's happening in Brazil. And I'm going to do that because our Brazilian brothers and sisters need our support. So we are going to do that. Let's go ahead and we'll head over to my YouTube studio. See if I can grab that link they sent me. Well, I can find some video, but news happened in Brazil. Police brutality. Let's see what happens. Let me Google that. But yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize it was this bad. Holy smokes. All right. So we're going to talk about Brazil and some of the things that's been going on there. So we're going to go ahead and bring up a few articles here, because there's been a few things that's been happening there. Okay. All right. I mean, I've got a few ideas, but it's like it's so many stories here. It's like if you got any like links, I would gladly take them. My dog in the background. So apparently, Brazilian police killed their own colleague, and so we're gonna go through this and we're gonna take a look at this. It's a pretty wild story. So let's just go ahead and turn on the desktop audio.
Deus que tenha dó desse homem, credo.
So apparently the Brazilian police are so psychotic in Brazil to the point where they literally shot and killed one of their own colleagues. So apparently it's gotten that bad. So let's go ahead and get to it. So this is going to be a story about Brazil. Brazil, their police brutality is so bad to the point where it's apparently, allegedly, officers killed one of their own. It's just unbelievable, but we're going to get into it. Let's go ahead and see.
Deus que tenha dó desse homem, credo. Ixi. Ele tá falando assim. Pera aí.
What am I looking at here?
Ai! Ele atirou pra frente, caralho. Puta merda! Meu Deus! Ai, mataram ele!
Wow.
Mataram o cara, gente! Mataram ele, velho! Tadinho! Mataram, velho! Não, meu Deus do céu!
Yep. Right. That's the guy right there. You might not see it, but I think I can enlarge it. Apparently, that's a police officer in the background there who they just gunned down. So, if you look back, I'm going to show you how you can go back here. Wow, you can hear the guy in the background just saying, "Adios mio," like, oh my God. You see a little black spot that's like right there? It's like, you know, look at the blue blue building in the back and then go down. You see like a black spot right in the middle of that street right there. That is apparently who they gunned down. That is a police officer, apparently. And they gunned him down. They killed him. So let's see. I don't know how true the story is.
Cambada de covarde! Mataram ele! Mataram, gente! Que dó! Covarde! Mataram o cara, velho!
Holy shit, dude.
Tadinho!
So the police just ran up. Like, what the fuck happened? They just ran up. What is this? Like, Brazil officer killed by officers. What the fuck? That is wow. Wow. I'm looking at some of the stories, and holy shit, I didn't realize it was this bad in Brazil. I gotta do more stories about Brazil, but apparently that was a story where they just gunned down a fellow police officer for no reason. So I want to thank my Brazilian viewers for sending me that particular story. Wow. That video is crazy. I'm having a hard time. I'm like having a hard time internalizing that. Like, what happened here? Why did they shoot him? Why did they shoot him?
Mataram o cara, gente. Mataram ele, velho. Tadinho. Ele tá falando assim.
He's right there. There's a cop right there.
Pera aí. Ai! Ele atirou pra frente, caralho. Puta merda. Meu Deus. Ai, mataram ele.
Yeah.
Mataram o cara, gente. Mataram ele, velho. Tadinho. Mataram, velho. Não, meu Deus do céu.
Jesus.
Cambada de covarde. Mataram.
Jesus. What happened? Why did they just kill him like that? I don't understand. I'm having a hard time comprehending that one. Like, what was the reasoning behind that? Does anyone know? I don't speak their language, so it's like I don't understand what happened. But apparently, it was a black officer who was killed by other officers. I just don't understand why did they do this. Insane. Just absolutely fucking insane, man. Wow, that story was crazy. I didn't see anything that he did. Maybe there's something in the background that I didn't see, but I didn't see. Whereas you could just shoot him like that, like, holy shit. You know, that is just. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. It's just silly stuff. Silly stuff. You know, and I guess at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, it's just police brutality is common, and it's around the world, and it's so sad that we have this kind of stuff happening in our country. You know, it's just not country, but on the planet. It's so sad that we have things like that happens, and it's a senseless loss of life. And I think that many people are going to look at some of the things that we've allowed police officers to get away with, and I think that it's going to cause us to take a fresh look into what we call policing around the world. And I think things need to change. I think that they're going to change because after the Derek Chauvin trial, man, I'm gonna tell you, things are gonna get pretty ugly. Things are gonna get pretty ugly. Brazil is just savage. I studied down there for a little bit, and Thailand was much more friendly. Yeah. But Trig here, I'm gonna go read some comments. What's your opinion about Brazil? What do you know about us? I told a little thing about it. Diesel Bomber says Brazil is savage in some parts. I have much love for it in general, though. So Sepultura, Max, Cavalera came from there, and they helped spare me as a human today. Trig, a soldier, a black police officer. The police killed a police officer. Yeah, I saw that. That's unbelievable. Diesel Bomber, Brazil is just savage. I studied down there for a little bit, and Thailand was much more friendly. Yeah, I haven't been to either yet, so hopefully I can go to both countries at some point. But it's another bad cop, no donut that we gotta do, so let's get into it. All right, this is going to be another bad cop, no donuts. It's from U.S. News. Southwestern Iowa police officer accused of domestic assault. A Southwestern Iowa police officer has been arrested and placed on paid leave after he was accused of domestic assault. Creston, Iowa. A Southwestern Iowa police officer has been arrested and placed on paid leave after he was accused of domestic assault. Police in Creston responded to a 911 call early Sunday morning and found a woman with visible injuries, including deep cuts to her head, the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation said Monday in a news release. The woman told police she was assaulted by Eric Schaller, a 48-year-old off-duty Creston police officer who was still at home when police arrived. Investigators said the woman told police Schaller had smashed her head into the table and thrown her into a door and kicked her several times. Schaller was taken in for questioning and denied that he had attacked the woman, according to police arrest record. But investigators said there were inconsistencies in his story, which did not match evidence collected at the scene. Schaller was charged with domestic assault, causing injury, and misdemeanor, and posted bond to be released. A publicly listed phone number for Schaller could not be found Monday. Wow. So let me go over basically what happened here. According to what this woman is actually claiming, is that he smashed her head into a table, thrown her into a door, and kicked her several times. Like, just beat the crap out of her, like she's a dog on the freaking street. Like, just beat the crap out of her. And they found deep cuts in her head, visible injuries. Deep cuts, mean gaseous. Gaseous. You know. And this man just sat there and just stomped the crap out of her and just treated her like a rag doll. And you know, I'm very curious to see what this guy looks like, because it's a very, very short article. So I'm very curious to see what this guy looks like. I want to see what this punk ass bitch looks like. Eric Schaller. This should be interesting. I want to see what he looks like. Yeah, you look like that kind of freaking bitch. Yeah. You look like it. You definitely look like it. You definitely give me that bitch impression. I'm very curious to see, is there any additional information? An officer with the Creston Police Department was arrested on Sunday following a report of assault. In a news release, officials said at about 4 a.m., officers went to 306 West Seneca to investigate an incomplete 911 call by a woman reporting the assault. Upon arrival, officers said they were met by an adult woman with visible physical injuries. She reported being assaulted by Eric Schaller, who was off duty at the time. A special agent with the Division of Criminal Investigation was brought in to conduct an independent investigation into the alleged assault. At about noon, officials charged Schaller with 1 count of domestic violence causing injury. Wow. And he's on paid administrative leave. So they're still paying him even though they suspected that he did this. So he's on paid administrative leave. And he smashed a woman's head up. Unbelievable. How can you still be paid when you smash somebody's fucking head in? I mean, how can you still get your paycheck? Again, stuff like this with damn police officers, it just makes me not want to trust any goddamn police officer, because I can guarantee you that had she not called anybody, even if someone had seen all those injuries, nobody would have even did shit. I can guarantee you that. So I mean, this is just yet another case, whereas you know and I guarantee you there were definitely red flags. Definitely red flags. I guarantee you. And I guarantee you that his leadership just ignored it. Because that's what they do with cops. Cops protect each other. It doesn't matter what grimy shit that they did or what laws that they've actually broken. Cops cover cops. Cops cover cops. I know that. This is why you are a fool if you trust any police officer. You are an absolute fool if you trust any police officer. All right, that recording is done. Yep, we're going to cover some more live edits. We got 2 done right now, so let's go ahead and play some more. All right, so we got another one. Other bad cop, no donut. This time with another domestic battery. Another domestic battery. It's going to become, it's just like, Between if you're a child or a woman, avoid police. If you are a child or a woman, avoid police. If you are a child or a woman, avoid police. Because interacting with police seems to be dangerous, you know? So if I were you, I would avoid police as much as possible. Seriously. Let's go back here. Last thing. All right. Let's go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty. Let's go ahead and get down to getting this story done. All right. Let's go ahead and press the record button. All right, this is going to be another bad cop, no donut. Another bad cop, no donut. Joliet police officer arrested on domestic battery charge. Officer is one of 4 being sued over the death of Eric Lurie by Felix Sarver, I should say, published on March 29th, 2021. This is from Shaw Media. Let's give a little shout out, give a little bit of shout out to local papers who are doing good journalism. One of the Joliet police officers involved in the arrest of Eric Lurie has been arrested and charged with domestic battery, police said. About 10:42 p.m. Friday, officers responded to the 1300 block of Fitzer Drive for a welfare check, according to a Joliet police news release. After investigation of this incident, off-duty officer Andrew McHugh was taken into custody for domestic battery, police said. A warrant was issued for McHugh, and he was released on cash bond, police said. Per Joliet police policy, McHugh was placed on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of the criminal investigation. This case is still under investigation, police said. On Monday, a misdemeanor charge of domestic battery was filed against McHugh, court records show. When asked what McHugh was accused of that led to the domestic battery charge, Joliet Police Sergeant Dwayne English said that because the case is still under investigation, he was unable to comment on the specifics on what led to the charge at this time. McHugh is one of the 4 police officers who are being sued by McHugh is one of the 4 Joliet police officers who are being sued by Nicole Lurie over the death of her husband, Eric Lurie, who died after his arrest on January 28th, 2020. McHugh, along with Joliet Police Lieutenant Jeremy Harrison, Joliet Police Sergeant Douglas May, and Officer Jose Tellez, were accused in Nicole Lurie's lawsuit of engaging in willful and wanton acts and reckless conduct that led to the death of her husband. The Will County Coroner's Office ruled Lurie's death an accident due to drug intoxication. Will County State's Attorney James Glasgow said in a memo that Lurie's death did not result directly from the action or inaction by an officer of the Joliet Police Department. On February 3rd, a woman filed a petition for a protective order against McHugh. Judge M. Thomas Carney denied the request for an emergency protective order on the same day following a court hearing where the woman was present but not McHugh, according to court records. Carney dismissed the case as the petitioner did not sustain their burden of proof, according to court documents. The woman's petition said she had dated McHugh for roughly 7 years and their relationship has deteriorated over time. Her petition claimed that during a discussion about their relationship, McHugh had told her, "If you ever blank leave me, I will take all the kids and you'll never blank see them again." The petition further claimed that McHugh threatened to kill the woman's daughter's pet hamster and told her son to drink a bottle of Drano and kill himself. I am fearful of him as are the children based on the things he says and the violent threats, she said in the petition. The petition claimed that McHugh used corporal punishment with one child, leading to the involvement of the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services. I believe that an OOP order of protection is necessary at this time until he can lessen his aggression and anger towards us and allow us to retrieve all of our property, the woman's petition said. So she tried to come forward, and once again, police are protected by courts. You see, that judge protected that judge, right, protected this asshole, this monster. And now a woman with deep gashes, you know, she suffered. And I fail to understand, right? Why is it that people go out of their way to protect people who harm people if they are police officers? These bootlickers, you've got to go. Bootlickers are going to be the death of this damn country. Bootlickers are going to be the death of this country. Right? Bootlickers will be the death of this country. And I want people to understand that. Right? Bootlickers will be the death of this country. So, another woman has suffered, another victim, and it just amazes me how many times this stuff happens and yet no one says anything, no one does anything. Things don't actually change. So once again, this is just another example of how the system protects cops. How a woman came forward and went to a judge and asked for order protection, and the judge denied it. And for years and years and years, this guy was allowed to just abuse people. Because if he's doing this at home, well, you know what he's doing on patrol. Unbelievable, man. Just unbelievable. Yeah, another one done. So we're gonna be having some videos out there for a couple of days, man. They release two of these live edits a day, and then also do the live show. It makes 3 uploads a day. So, once again, I want to be able to get the content out there. Wow. So, all right. So this next story is going to be about Joe Biden. Story is coming from CNN. All right, this story is from CNN. Joe Biden is asking states to reinstate the mask mandate. State and local officials to reinstate a mask mandate. I mean, that's what he said there. So let's go ahead and go over the reasons why he's saying this. President Joe Biden made a plea to the nation's governors Monday as the U.S. faces the possibility of another wave of COVID-19 infections. I'm reiterating my call for every governor, mayor. I mean, he's calling everybody. Every governor, every mayor, and local leader to maintain and reinstate the mask mandate. Please, this is not politics. Reinstate the mandate if you let it down, Biden said during remarks on the state of vaccinations Monday. The plea comes as some states have lifted requirements for face coverings as well as guidance on restaurant capacity and other measures. And the cases have once again begun to rise. Last week, the administration called on states to slow the relaxation of COVID guidelines. With a nod to the role of the private sector, Biden also suggested businesses should also require the use of masks. The failure to take this virus seriously precisely is what got us into this mess in the first place. Risk more cases, more deaths, he said. Biden also renewed calls for Americans to wear masks, framing the choice as a patriotic duty. I need the American people to do their to do their part as well. Mask up, mask up. It's a patriotic duty. It's the only way we can ever get back to normal, he said. Dr. Rochelle Walensky, director of the U.S. Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention, or CDC, said she will be conveying Biden's message to governors on Tuesday after she warned of impending doom over concerns about another COVID-19 wave. Wow. With regard to the surging, we are working closely with the states, and I will be speaking with the governors tomorrow to try and reinforce the need for current restrictions to not open up, Walensky said Monday. I think what we'll do on masking will really depend on where we are 30 days from now. So Joe Biden is asking for governors to basically require people to mask up again, right? You know, people have had COVID fatigue, man. People have had COVID fatigue, and it's just, you're asking people to keep masking up, man. And I get why people don't want to do it. I get it. It's brutal, but if you ever want to get back to normal, I'm sorry, but there are some precautions you're going to have to take. And that's just it. You know, and I don't like, again, I don't like wearing a mask. I don't like all the restrictions either, because I feel like, you know, we've already been under those restrictions for a long time. I get, you know, the fatigue that is associated with wearing a mask, doing all the restrictions, everything, and social distancing. I get all the fatigue with it. But we have to realize that this virus is not going away, that you have to take that COVID vaccine annually. It's not going to be a one-time dose. So if you don't like this mask mandate and everything else, well, just wear a mask for now. And when everyone's vaccinated, at least for the first round, then get ready for your next shot around next year this time. Get ready for your next shot, because it's going to be available at CVS and every freaking drugstore, much like the freaking flu shot. It's going to be an annual thing. It's going to be another shot that you have to take, because you understand COVID is not like the common flu. COVID is a brutal virus. It's killed a lot of people, more than 500,000 Americans. So I want you to understand that while you may be fatigued, and trust me, I get it, this is necessary. This has to happen. It has to happen. All right. Let's see. Diesel Bomber says, "You good, brother? You seem a little worn down." Yeah, I am worn down. I am. It's because I've been dealing with Richland County on this morning. Been dealing with the FBI. I've been trying to get them to investigate Leon Lott. You know, but that's why I say, law enforcement, you're all shit to me. And the only thing that's gonna fix you is the riots that's gonna come pretty soon. I think with the amount of ferocity you're gonna see in these riots, and the amount of depths you're gonna see in these riots, you will change. It's gonna happen in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, all over the goddamn country. Right. So let's get back into the news, though. I am a little bit worn down, but that's why I'm putting out these live edits, so you know, that way you guys can have things. If I have to take breaks off of the from the podcast, because again, I understand, like, it is very, very, very taxing. It's very taxing to you know, it is. It is very, very taxing. So we're going to go ahead and go to back to the live scene. All right, so this is going to be an update to the George Floyd case. Former officer knelt on George Floyd for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, not the infamous 8:46. Wow. Over 9 minutes. Jesus, man. Oh my gosh. That makes it so much worse. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin knelt on George Floyd for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, prosecutors said Monday, correcting the 8:46 timing that has become a symbol of police brutality. In opening statements of Chauvin's criminal trial, prosecuting attorney Jerry Blackwell repeatedly emphasized the new 9:29 timing, telling jurors they were the most important numbers in this case. He broke down the timing of Chauvin's kneeling into 3 sections: 4 minutes and 45 seconds as Floyd cried out for help, 53 seconds as Floyd failed, as Floyd flailed due to seizures, and 3 minutes and 51 seconds as Floyd was non-responsive. Chauvin's defense similarly accepted the new timing as accurate to support its own arguments. The evidence is far greater than 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Attorney Eric Nelson said in his opening, knowing that many interviews and documents that he said could prove Chauvin is not guilty. The 43-second difference between 8:46 and 9:29 has little impact on the case itself, but the 8:46 number had taken on a power of its own since Floyd died under Chauvin's knee on May 25th, 2020. Protesters, including Democratic leaders of Congress, have held moments of silence for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, kneelings, and die-ins. Comedian Dave Chappelle released a stand-up special about police violence and anti-black racism titled simply 8:46. A number even has its own Wikipedia page. And just minutes before the trial began Monday, members of Floyd's family and allies, including Reverend Al Sharpton and attorney Benjamin Crump, went down on one knee for 8:46 to commemorate his death. Boy, that is sad, man. That's hard to watch. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office has now corrected that timing several times. The 8:46 timing initially was included in a criminal complaint against Chauvin. That number was based on bystander video of Floyd's death that went viral and led to public outrage. The video, which is over 10 minutes long in all, begins with Chauvin already on Floyd's neck, so it was not immediately clear how long he had been on Floyd prior to the video start. In June, weeks after the initial complaint, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office told CNN that Chauvin actually had his knee on Floyd for 7 minutes and 46 seconds. These kinds of technical matters can be handled in future amendments to the criminal complaint if other reasons make it necessary to amend the amend the complaint between now and any trials, the county said in a statement, adding the error made no difference in the decision to charge the former officer. Evidence from officers' body cameras released in later months led to the timing of over 9 minutes. Jesus, man. Jesus. That is just awful. But I had to cover a case with George Floyd. You know, it's just an awful case. And I look forward to seeing how this case turns out. I don't think Derek Chauvin is going to be convicted, and I think there's going to be riots. And I think that's when you're going to see the actual change. But let's hope that I'm wrong. Let's hope that he goes to prison for a long time. All right, Diesel Bomber says, yeah, I'm white. I am not a weak person. Brazil was the only place I actually thought I could be killed for no reason. Any hood in this country never had that effect on me. Yeah. Trick says also Brazil is from the strong. I agree with you. All right, so that's going to be it for the Pitchfork podcast. I got to get some sleep, man, get some rest. Guys, be safe. Wear a mask. Don't get COVID. Horns up. Peace out. Good night. And good luck. Thank you, Diesel Bomber. Thank you, Trig. Thank you, everybody else who joined me. I'm out.